All right. In this success story, we're going to talk about how one HubSpot agency helped a SaaS startup, take their HubSpot, clean it up, find 20 opportunities, improve their email deliverability using the 80-20 rule, create one-to-one email strategies that drove immediate results, and how they decided who to email one-on-one out of thousands of people, and what they're doing to prevent list churn. Louis Garcia, thank you so much for being on the Garlic Marketing Show.
Thank you, Ian, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
And don't forget, this is brought to you by videocasestory.com. One of the best ways to improve any part of your marketing, whether you're using HubSpot or just websites, is through customer stories. Go to videocasestory.com to help learn how we can help you collect, craft, and deliver customer stories. So tell us a little bit about the SaaS company, why they came to you, and then the process for getting them in and identifying those opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were approached by a SaaS company that produces a report for companies and agencies who are looking to true up their brand voice and ensure that their, the content that they're putting out on social media and emails and other channels fits their brand voice. And they use AI and automation to support with this. And it's a company that's been operating as a service-based business for quite some time, but they pivoted into this SaaS space in the last year. And they were looking for a way to go to market with this new SaaS product and had invested in HubSpot. They were actually part of the HubSpot for Startups program, which is a really fantastic program for those of you who might not be familiar with it. You can get up to anywhere from like 50 to 90% off your HubSpot software by being inside a qualifying HubSpot for Startups program. So you generally need to be part of some type of incubator or accelerator to be eligible for that. So they got this, enterprise package from HubSpot, all the bells and whistles, as you can imagine, and they were now looking at like how to use this tool to generate these opportunities. They DIY'd it at first and weren't getting a lot of traction. One, they didn't really have anyone on the team who had prior HubSpot experience or expertise. And they also, didn't really have a lot of other like CRM or platform type experience. So they reached out to us to support them. And one, just gaining familiarity and being on board of the tool, but also secondly, to be able to move forward on their go-to-market efforts and to start engaging with different targets that they had built up through their prospecting and list building to engage with them and to start offering this new product that they just had created and launched.
And at what point did they realize they needed help?
Yeah. It was almost, it was kind of right away, right? Because they knew they had this like really robust tool set. They had tried a couple of things themselves, but they weren't really getting the traction that they were hoping to see from like their open rates or click-through rates, and ultimately in lead gen and creating opportunities. And so when they came to us when they noticed that they weren't really getting the results that they wanted to get and that they were going to be eventually off track to their growth goals if they weren't going to do something differently rather soon.
When you looked into it, when you first got into it, where did you see, what were the major problems that you see or major opportunities?
Yeah, once, when we get into a portal or HubSpot portal for the first time, we do an assessment of, of all the kind of components, make sure that it's like set up appropriately, things are connected well, things are secure, and we do a kind of an overall almost audit of the platform to see where things were at. We did see some opportunities around their email health to improve on their open rates and click-through rates, and we recommended some different approaches around that. And then we also noticed that they hadn't really gone through a full onboarding through the product. Onboarding to a CRM, especially if you're new to using a CRM, can take months, right? It's not something that you can just typically buy the tool and start doing right away. And with the onboarding through the startup program, the HubSpot will give you a couple of hours with a consultant to set it up, but that you're largely left on your own, or you need to buy more onboarding services through HubSpot or through a solution partner like us. And so when we got into the portal, we just saw right away that it was like first red flag was like, okay, like this isn't really set up completely. And they haven't gone through the necessary checklists and things to do that. And so we've been able to not only make sure that the portal is set up in an appropriate way, but then that they're also being trained and onboarded so that they become familiarized and they can help themselves, and being able to get the most value from the platform.
And when you were looking at email health and you looked at email deliverability, what problems did you see that you were able to fix?
First thing was around personalization. So up front, it was a lot of just broad emails sent to the whole list. And so where we came through with our recommendations was to actually segment their list out to different types of personas that they were looking to attract. So there was about 2 or 3 different kind of key personas that they were looking to engage with. And so we built out those personas and tagged contacts to the appropriate personas so that we could start sending more personalized and relevant emails to different people within their list. So that way owners were getting different things than marketers. We're getting different things than salespeople. They all have different kind of needs and challenges and concerns and goals. And by being able to personalize our content and make it more relevant, we've been able to see opens and click-through rates increase, as well as engagement for new opportunities.
That's awesome. And when you're looking through that, you were looking through there, did you have to then have a separate email strategy for each of those personas?
Yeah. And we actually ended up kind of prioritizing who we wanted to focus on too. So being able to say, you know what, let's focus on, owners and marketers, and from that more secondary, let's focus on those people later, right? So we took the 80-20 rule and said, okay, where are we getting most of our opportunities from? And then decided to focus on those ones. We also decided to adopt, in some cases, a more of a one-to-one email strategy as well, where they were largely just doing marketing emails and lists and bulk. And we show them how to start using email templates and sequences and to drive more one-to-one communications, which naturally improved our open rates and click rates and engagement. And we were becoming more selective on how to engage and when to engage with those ones. So we were looking for people with buying signals or showing engagement from a marketing effort. So we started to develop more of a marketing to sales handoff process.
Nice. That's interesting because I think a lot of people get a tool like this and do exactly what this company did. They get it and then they use it as a mass email tool instead of an opportunity for one-on-one. And I argue that I think this is the big opportunity right now, is to take the time to identify those people you want to focus on and really go into that one-to-one strategy, but leveraging some automation. How long does it take? Because I think that's the thing. It's like, it takes too long to target people one-to-one email strategy. Was that a big chunk of time?
No, not really. Not when you can focus it down to, the specific scenarios in which we wanted to reach out. And so we were looking for people who had, these emails that were being sent out. They were encouraging people to, the marketing emails were building awareness and leading people into a demo. And when we noticed people either opening and clicking, particularly when they clicked on the emails and the links, but didn't actually schedule the demo, those are the times where we said, well, they clicked on the demo link, but they didn't book a time with you. Either they didn't want to fill out the form because they didn't want to give you the information, or they changed their minds, or maybe they didn't see a time on the calendar that worked for them because they also included a calendaring meeting link on the landing page. And from that, we started to build lists and targets of people that would be good folks to just follow up on a one-to-one email. So yeah, when you have a list of 10,000 folks, it's going to, doing a one-to-one strategy for everyone, and naturally is going to take a lot of time and isn't a really good use of effort. But when we can focus it down to a specific signal, link clicks, but maybe not conversion, those are where we decided to focus down and then to engage more in a one-to-one fashion.
Awesome. And I think, because I think this is so important. So how quickly did they start to see results from that one-to-one email strategy?
Yeah, I mean, it's immediate, really immediate results. I mean, because even with the one-to-ones, you can see holistically within HubSpot, what was your open rate? What was your click rate? What was your reply rate? What's your meeting rate? So now we're getting more metrics, that are leading us to engagement. Where when you're sending out marketing emails from HubSpot, you're getting the open and clicks. I mean, and you can break it down like which one did they click on and who clicked it and all that. But it's with those sales templates and sequences, you can see actually a lot more interesting engagement data by using those. And so we could see right away that these emails, were being opened and clicked at a higher rate than our marketing emails were, which not a huge surprise there. But, we were also seeing that, we were seeing demos being booked, and that's where, the majority of these 20 new opportunities came from, was actually nurturing directly from a one-to-one email.
And I would imagine that. And I think has an important point too. How long have you been doing this for?
Yeah, so I've been a HubSpot solution partner for 6 years.
Okay.
And then I've been I've been running the business for about 12 years now. We started as a web development company. And then
Gotcha.
6 years ago, ran into HubSpot, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to be a partner?" And it was, went through their whole journey, and then came out the other end a happy solution partner.
I love it. And so you've seen a lot of these implemented. How often do these one-to-one email strategies, how often do you just keep reusing them? Because I would imagine that there's people on that list that now pop up and should be in the one-to-one email strategy.
Yeah, I kind of another example with the client that we're working with right now. They're in a education space, an LMS space, and we've noticed through some of their email health is that they're, HubSpot tracks, who your unengaged contacts are, and it says, if they've received 12 marketing emails, where they haven't opened them, it's going to flag them as an unengaged contact, and you could kind of choose to not email them in the future, by choosing to not include unengaged contacts. What we've noticed through going through their email health and analysis is that, before they become unengaged, use one-to-one emails to see if we can create some type of engagement. Like, why aren't they opening these emails? It's particularly the marketing emails. Do they just never see them? Do they not find them valuable? Multitude of reasons that they're not seeing them. And so we're queuing up people who are just about to become unengaged, according to the definition, to actually use one-to-one emails to see if we can get any type of engagement through the one-to-one emails before, rather than just keep sending the marketing emails out, and because if we just, what's predictable is if we do that, well, we're going to continue this rate of unengagement, continue to add people, or like churn contacts into unengaged contacts, essentially. And we see using one-to-one emails as the opportunity to prevent that churning, because if they've received 11 marketing emails and haven't opened any of them, well, why send another one? It's like, let's try something a little bit different here, see if they respond that way. And if they don't, well, maybe that's an opportunity or a signal to graveyard them or to handle the record some other way.
And, what kind of results did you get from hitting those unengaged people? Because we always think of, the engaged ones with one strategy makes a lot of sense, but the one unengaged with one-to-one strategy kind of is a little counterintuitive, but I can see where it worked. What kind of results did you get there?
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. We had a list of about 9,000 contacts that we started to work through. And, we're noticing so I think so far we've had about a 6% re-engagement rate from that. So yeah, it's, where, I think benchmark, for just, broad marketing emails, right? We usually want to see about 23% on the open rates or so. So naturally, not necessarily meeting the benchmark by any means, but we were able to recapture, 6%, which is going to make a big difference for them, because now those people are back into a re-engaged status for the team, and is moving the company towards their goals.
Yeah, and I mean, it's got to be a lot cheaper than acquiring that person onto your list again. For a SaaS company. I mean, given it sounds like it's a high-end SaaS, probably large customer value. So yeah, this makes a lot of sense, because if someone's looking at brand voice, they're spending some money on content. Or this was that LMS one, right? the education one. Sorry.
This particular example was around the LMS one. Yeah.
Yeah. Which even then there's definitely a lifetime customer value there. That's great. That is amazing. And so what would you say is the biggest opportunity right now in using HubSpot for SaaS companies?
Yeah, really great question. I think one thing that I'm really curious about and interested, I think is more of an opportunity for this particular client, but even just for any kind of SaaS client, is to use HubSpot to track the custom events. So to be able to use like custom events within HubSpot, so you can track how people's engagements are within your SaaS tool within HubSpot and your CRM, and to build up segmentation around that. So for example, with this particular SaaS company, they're sending people to their proprietary software, but we have no insights in the CRM, whether they signed up or, what features or tools have they been using, when was their last login, being able to like track their behaviors and characteristics on the tool, but being able to put that into your CRM and aggregate that data in your CRM. So not only could you see your marketing information, your sales information, but then also your customer information and how they're using your tools. I think that would provide a SaaS company just like incredible value in being able to see, and being able to segment their contacts even further to, who are your power users, who are the people who haven't used the tool in 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, right? And being able to then build out HubSpot and workflows and automations to, take on a variety of actions. So if someone hasn't logged in your tool 60 days, 90 days, send them a note, send them an email. Hey, where you been? Right? If someone's a power user, send them an email, congratulate them, right? Being able to, again, bring data from your proprietary software into the HubSpot platform is just going to enable your teams to drive deeper insights, and then to couple those with those marketing, sales, and customer service tools, so you can just drive greater value for your customers, but also greater, lifetime customer value for the company.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean that's great, and it's such an easy place to make more money and to make happier customers and get more referrals, and it is marketing. You should be marketing to your current clients. I think that's great advice. Awesome. So Louis, how does someone get in touch with you all?
Yeah, definitely. Well, you can find us on our website, mediagarcia.com. And then my email is Louis, and that's spelled LOUIS @mediagarcia.com.
Awesome. And we'll put all that in the show notes. And where do you spend most of your time on social media?
LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn.
All right.
As well. And we'll make sure that there's a link in there as well.
All right. We'll put a link to that. Louis, thanks so much for being on the Garlic Marketing Show and sharing the success story.
Yeah, pleasure being here. Thank you so much, Ian, for pulling us together to have this conversation. It was a pleasure, and wish you a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. And thank you for taking Louis and I on our journey. This has been Ian Garlic and the Garlic Marketing Show.